If you're sitting comfortably, we shall begin. You'd have landed at a website which says the Dance School Reopening Kit, because that's basically what it is. It's a short page, it tells you what's in the kit. There's a strange man sitting on the left hand side. Don't worry about him, he's not dangerous, as long as you feed him coffee. It explains a little bit of what you're getting in the kit, and there's a place to put the email in so I can actually deliver it to you. You're then getting an email where you have to confirm that it's you, which after you confirm, you're sent to a page to get the information, which also I think comes through for email now. You'll find there's lots of bits and pieces in there. There's several lists because to prepare it, I started with a shopping list, which is what any good person I think does. So it's a shopping list which you just fill in as you need. Take some of the ideas from this one if they're any help. There's a preparation list. These are things you need to be doing, like an accident book update. You need to be thinking about how you do your check-in process, marking, and whatever. Then there's a standard risk assessment. This is from the government, which is fine if you're using a normal situation as a day-to-day basis where you have a known risk and a known solution. But unfortunately, we've got so many unknown situations at the moment, or variables, that I did, if it comes up, a slightly different one. This is my Ian's Mad Drottings list. Basically, I sit down with a white piece of paper and a pencil and a nice cup of coffee and note a few other things which perhaps are not on a standard risk assessment, and the potential risk factors which I found out through independent research. Then once you put your plan into place, you're going to need some checklists as well, because you have to implement the plan and you can't be everywhere at once. So some of the things you will have to delegate to other people if you possibly can. So I've done one here for the startup of the day. There's another one for closing down. There's another one for the teachers, what they need to do before and after each class. And there's one for the foyer area or the bar reception, where they're controlling other things, for example, the washrooms, the paper towels, that the soap's always filled up, and so on and so forth. And if it's on a list, people don't forget, because at the end they have to sort of sign it off, because they become responsible. And you can always present these lists. If anyone's querying your health and safety policy, you can say, well, it's all documented. Then this is the health and safety concept which I sent to our local government. It was actually the second one. And I've purposely done it differently to a normal document, which is just small white black text, because I wanted to appeal to the left brain and the right brain. By using larger print, graphics, and white space, people do read the document much more easily, they do digest it, and they read it to the end. And it seemed to work. So it just basically starts off with telling you what the school's about, how long you've been in business, and what you do. It tells you what you're not going to be doing, for example, large events, because you're complying to the government's stipulations anyway. Then it tells you things about implementing the plan, which are already on the government website, but how you intend to do it in your own studio. And it's quite lengthy. It goes on, and it's analysed the dance movements, the various dance genres. For example, it's talking about the need for ballroom dances, the need for ballet, the need for child dancing, the need for hip hop, because there's a different movement for each, a different space, different breathing, different body temperature. So we've mentioned it's all in the plan so the government can see we're acting responsibly. Then there's another document which I put together, which was just the check-in procedure. This is what we used because you have to keep this track and trace information. Everybody who's been in the building or comes in the building, their full details, how long they're there for, and their purpose. And to keep all that with lots of bits and paper and pen, it's going to be a right pain. So I automated the process, which made it much easier. And I've explained it here in this little document which we do. And I put a few paragraphs out to the pupils so they understand it, and it works 99% very efficiently. There's a video explaining how I did it because sometimes I don't cover everything. Then I put a few notes here about when you communicate your health and safety to the pupils, it's a very different type of language because you're speaking to a friend, you're not speaking to a government. So you can't simply use the same type of language that they're hearing from government officials every day, because otherwise they're not going to have much respect for you. So there's a few tips on how you can perhaps communicate to your pupils. And there's one more coming up, taking a bit of time to load. This was I think the first one we did. And it's a text where you can just simply change the text if you didn't want to do any graphic bits and pieces. And it's explained the teacher's responsibility, what's going to be happening, how the classes are going to run, the needs, how the different movements are working. For example, line dance, moving left, right, forward and backwards, and they're possibly using 4 walls. If it's hip hop, it's more stationary, but there's movement to the left and right and forwards, but not so extreme. But there's obviously more exhalation and a rise in body heat, similar to modern disco freestyle. And how we've marked the floor for dancers so they understand. It's covered together dancing, ballroom, the needs of their breathing, the type of movement, the type of room they're going to need, etc. Solo dancing, Pilates, it's covered everything that we actually teach. If you teach any more, just use that as a basis and develop onto it. Right, then what we've done as well, just to help, we've done some little posters here. Oh no, this was a memo to our staff, because we have to make the staff responsible for their areas, because you can't be everywhere at once. If you're sitting outside at reception and you can't be in the studio at the same time, if something happens in the studio, you need to make sure it's being controlled and correctly handled. So we put information together then for our staff. You can just use this as you need to. Just simply copy and paste it or apply it to your own circumstances. And then what we've done is a little bonbon, and I hope you might like these, they might help you. We had to use a lot of signs. So we've made some posters, and all these posters, you can just simply remove the logo and put your own dance school logo in its place. And the same here, you just remove that and put your own website address. So all these posters you can use in your own school, and there's a little walkthrough of how you can just take away the graphic that's there, remove the text, and put your own in its place. So that's just about doing the check-in with WhatsApp. The next one, I think, is this computer's damn slow. All right, it's another check-in. It depends what color scheme you're using, basically. This is black on white. It's not so easy to see, but it's not so obtrusive. There's another one which we did, I think, which for the opening, for the entrance and exit, because we have separate entrance and exits. So we had to do signposting for that as well. So they're here, which you can purpose to your own school, put your own logo on. It's taking a hell of a time here. I think it's gone on strike. All right, and then we've done a couple of little things as well for if you're doing social media advertising, or you want to place a poster in your window, then you could use this sort of thing. It's no problem whatsoever. And again, just put your own website address on it and your own logo. And then you can just simply take it to a local printer, and they'll print it as a PDF on A3, A2, whatever size you want it, or use it in social media. But remember to put your link to your website address onto it as well, so people can enroll. There's another little one here. Our favorite dance schools, everything's very generic. Again, you put your logo on it, you can put your name on it, whatever. So this is the sort of thing I put together for you. But the most important part really is going to be these documents here, especially the very first one. which you're going to be sending to the local council or the town hall. And someone as a covering letter we put together, because when you send it to the town hall, if you send a covering letter to them and ask them if they have any feedback or if they feel there's room for improvement or anywhere they'd like to change it, because then you're giving them a little bit of control and they feel very happy about that. But at the end of the day, they see you act responsibly, professionally, and we had absolutely no objection whatsoever. And the plan was accepted and it's being used in different regions of Germany. However, be aware, once you've got everything in place, your plans in place, the plan for your team, your check-in, your automation, etc., is all set up, the plan changes very fast. So you must treat this as a working document, and it will change from time to time, for the good, for the worse, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with people going on holidays and traveling starting up again, based on the availability of hospital beds, the economy. So there could be changes. So be prepared. This is a work in progress document. So once you've got it in place, it must be flexible. And the rest I go through in the various documents itself. So I hope it helps you in some way. If it does, that would be absolutely super. The only thing I will ask is please don't share it with your friends on that way. If you have a colleague who you feel would benefit, then just simply give them a link to this page here where you got the information and they can register, because if any information comes through afterwards, which I need to send, I can't follow up. Okay. I wish you every success with your opening and start looking towards the future as well, because I think we're going to have a strange few years ahead of us. But together, I'm sure we can cope with it. I wish you every success.